Well, we are delighted to have a program where we're talking really about issues that are confronting a young generation that is with people who are thinking through issues. And Jefferson was just powerful. Great interview, wasn't it? Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah, but you know, he's young and thin, and what's that all
Yeah,
about?
it makes me sick.
It's just so overrated, isn't it? No. What a great thinker. Jerry, we are in the midst of creating a lot of documentaries, and you're on the front end of that. And we just talked yesterday about the documentary related to profiling teen shooters, school shooters, tragic stories. You guys have been out there. You revisited Columbine. While you were on the road, we had some shootings in Nevada in the school context. We unpacked some of that yesterday. Another one of the documentaries that you've been up to, though, has been related to prescription drugs and opiates. And that has even caused a stir in the offices of the Food and Drug Administration in the States. Talk to us a little bit about that and give us a sense of what you learned and what we're going to be seeing in the days ahead with this documentary.
It's an underreported phenomenon. I mean, we talk about drugs, we think about the guy on the grimy street in the corner. The reality is every 19 minutes, somebody in the U.S. dies due to prescription drug abuse. And the dealers are doctors. And it's not just in the U.S. Flying back to Toronto, the girl seated next to me from Oakville said, man, everybody I know is doing opiate abuse. And the storyline is simple. A kid in high school breaks his arm or leg. He goes to the doctor. He gets Vicodin, a Schedule II drug. After 30 days of doing Vicodin, he didn't want to stop. So he starts getting scripts, rating parents' prescriptions. And then he finds out who in the community is selling. And there are people that look just like you and me and grannies that are selling these drugs because 80 milligrams oxy pill is $100 on the street.
Say that again?
80 milligrams singular tablet of oxy is $100. So 30 pills is $3,000. So I sat down with a special DEA agent in San Diego.
Drug enforcement.
Right, who has a strategy to bust the doctors. I asked him how you do it. I knew they had undercover patients in there. He said, well, if I tell you, they're going to change their tactics, so we can't tell you the whole thing. And then we sat down with a mom and dad who, their son had a broken arm, 23, oxy user, dealer. Undercover agent tries to buy drugs from him, and he ends up committing a crime, gets a 5-year prison sentence, and the dad doesn't want his son to go to a California prison for obvious reasons, and says, can I go undercover and bust the dealers, and the district attorney, will you commute the sentence of my son? So we recreate that whole story. And believe you me, it has the drama of a movie, because the dealers were 20-somethings, the gal posed as a masseuse, and there was all kinds of traps along the way. And we met Brittany Morgan, a young girl who spent thousands, first just doing oxy, and then she ends up in Delray Beach in a drug-infested house doing oxy 24 hours a day, 90 pounds of weight, and her mom and dad intervene.
Well, let's take a look at this piece from the documentary. This features Brittany and a bit of the profile that Jerry and our Crossroads production team captured. Let's see it.
Oxy, it was my life. It was my boyfriend. It was my family. It was the thing that was always there for me. And I just couldn't live my life without it. I was a rack of bones. I probably weighed about 90 pounds, and my skin was just like draped over my bones. It was covered in track marks from shooting up and bruises. I was extremely malnourished, dehydrated. I had wasted away to nothing. I was so disgusted with the person that I was. I was extremely depressed. I would say like on the verge of suicidal. I did not want to live anymore. I did not think it was possible to get clean. I just didn't think it was possible for me. I had seen people do it, but I just didn't think I had it in me. It will always be enticing to me. But for me, I think about everything I have to lose, and I know where that leads me. It leads me to the streets. I'm alone, I'm hopeless, and I will die if I go back.
So Jerry, as we're looking at Brittany and her story, there's a place in her story where she encounters faith in God.
Absolutely.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, for so many parents, this was the catalyst to turn to God. Now, remember, we were in San Diego with a boy who, the night of his oxy overdose, the kids threw ice on him, so he's a quadriplegic. He goes into the schools with his mom, and yes is one finger and two is no. So we actually went into the school with Brandon and his mom, Sherry. The Lord, obviously, they have a dynamic encounter because it's a crisis. But the good news is we're talking to the FDA all last week saying, why aren't you regulating this? We know the drug companies are funding the FDA. We also know that for every Congress member, House and Senate, there's 3 lobbyists from the drug companies. And we know that every Congress member has a family member addicted. We all do. In every family, there's somebody who's suffering from an addiction. We asked, well, let's do an interview. Last Friday on the front page of the New York Times, the FDA is moving forward to limit the prescription of Schedule II opiate drugs. It's quite a trip.
So we are in the midst of some cutting edge realities.
Oh, this is going to really make a huge impact. It's going to wake up a lot of naive parents whose kids are addicted.
This is made possible, this kind of documentary, really this long series of documentaries that we're doing on life issues. We talked yesterday about school shooters and shootings and the impact of that and the aftermath of that, of how people are coming to an understanding of who God is in their lives and the role that God would like to play in their lives. And then in addition to that, we have this particular documentary that we are talking about prescription drugs and opiates. Again, these are the realities of the day. And we believe as leaders in broadcast communications, people of faith, that we have a pretty high and holy responsibility to try to present these tough issues through a biblical lens, through a biblical worldview. And Jerry, you've done it extremely well, and the team out there is so courageous. Off camera, we've talked about scary places and scary people that you've had to encounter just to be able to get the story.
Get this, the undercover narc that took the boy down is now the best friend of the DeHaven family.
Wow.
And you talk about the Lord.
Only God.
And the cartels, though, because Oxy is so available, kids are moving to heroin quicker. So the cartels are moving faster. I mean, this is a serious issue, and it's one that people of faith should speak into. Nothing's gone away. It's almost been a Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix resurgence.
We have pledge lines that are available. A phone number on the screen, 1-888-288-0003. That's 1-888-288-0003. When you call today and you help us with a gift toward Crossroads to the ministry here, it helps us fund these cutting-edge, well-made, sophisticated documentaries. And the good news is this. Because of technology and the various platforms we have here at Crossroads, this isn't just something that's shown one time on television and then gone for a long time until a rerun season. What happens is these are played over and over again, and because these are sophisticated documentaries, they get before rather sophisticated audiences.
And schools, churches, I mean, literally, these documentaries will go all over the world because of the giving of our people.
When you give today, you help us with these documentaries. We really need it. Would you help us end the month of October strong? It would be so appreciative. 1-888-288-0003. Help us help others through these documentaries. And thanks so much, Jerry. Appreciate you. Love you very, very much.